Dr. Kent Brantly has a unique understanding about Ebola. Back in 2014, the Ebola virus was spreading through West Africa. Dr. Brantly was a missionary doctor. He became infected and was brought back to the United States for treatment. Dr. Brantly joins me tonight. Dr. Brantly, thanks so much for carving time out to talk to us. We're going to talk about your experience in a moment, but first, you're aware of this new outbreak of Ebola in Africa. What is the difference between this rare variant and what happened back in 2014?
In 2014, the outbreak in West Africa was caused by the Zaire variant, and this outbreak is being caused by the Bundibugyo variant of Ebola virus. There actually seem to me to be a lot of similarities between the outbreak in 2014 and this one. The difference between the different strains of the virus, while some might say that Bundibugyo is a little less potent or has a lower mortality rate, the problem is that all of the vaccines and therapeutics that exist now were targeted at that Zaire strain, and so they don't have proven efficacy against this strain that's affecting so many people in East Africa right now.
Are we at risk here in the United States to this rare variant?
I don't think the average American has anything to be worried about or afraid of with regard to Ebola virus disease. What we do need to be worried about is the well-being of our neighbors on the other side of the world. In 2014, I often shared a message of choosing compassion over fear, and the idea that the well-being of all of us is directly connected to the well-being of each of us. And we are, whether we like it or not, we are a global community. And so we need to be engaged in helping our neighbors in East Africa fight this outbreak.
And that's exactly what you were doing back in 2014. You were a missionary doctor and you were there treating patients. What was that like when you learned that you had been infected with Ebola?
It was pretty frightening. It was a very isolating and lonely experience to see the same symptoms developing in my body that I had seen in so many of my patients who had died. It was a pretty fearful time.
And at the time, as I remember the story, your wife and kids had left Africa just a few days before you found out that you were infected, right?
That's right. They left on a Sunday to return back to the States in preparation for a family wedding. And I was supposed to follow them like a week later, but 3 days after they left is when I first developed symptoms.
And we remember, of course, on the news, watching you get on an airplane and come back to the United States and treated in Atlanta. Tell me how sick you were from Ebola and what was that like for you?
I was very sick. I was near the point of death more than once. I am so grateful to the team at Emory that took care of me, to the team in Liberia that took care of me before my evacuation. And I am so grateful to the many, many people in different NGOs and organizations and government who said yes to me, to having compassion on me and bringing me home for the best treatment available. I'm still to this day so grateful to everyone who was involved in that response.
And you would go on to write a book about your experience, and you had a chance to, go to the White House and meet the president, and you really became the face of these Ebola fighters and were recognized by Time magazine as one of the people of the year. What was that whole experience like once you had recovered and you were able to tell people about your experience?
Scott, it was a surreal experience. All those things you just mentioned. It's hard to believe that really happened to me. But what I wanted to do then, in the wake of my recovery, is exactly why I said yes to this interview with you tonight, which is I want to advocate for the people of East Africa, for the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda and South Sudan, for the expats and foreigners who were already living there trying to help in a very um, difficult place, a place that's experienced a lot of suffering and conflict. Uh, and there are people who have gone there now in response to this outbreak to help. And I want to call on anyone in a position to render assistance to do so, to respond out of a place of compassion with the resources that are available to save lives and to care for people who are in great need right now.
Is there an organization that we can contribute to help all of these people that are on the ground there taking care of patients?
Scott, there are, I'm sure, many organizations that will be involved in the days and weeks and months ahead. To be honest, the only one I know of on the ground right now would be the World Health Organization and Doctors Without Borders. I imagine there are others who are gearing up to help respond as well. Whoever you know that is involved in rendering aid, offer your support to them.
Got two more questions for you, Dr. Brantly. Do you have any lingering health issues as a result of having Ebola back in 2014?
I don't have any lingering health issues that I'm aware of. I've made a full recovery, returned to normal life, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. How did you rely on your Christian faith during that season of life?
Now, I said one time in 2014, somebody asked me how my faith helped me in that situation, and I said, well, it was kind of my faith that got me into this situation, because I believe faith is not just a belief, it is our response to God. It is the way we live. And so it was my faith that led me to move my family to West Africa to work in a hospital there where there was great need. And it was that same faith that I clung to when things looked desperate, not in confident hope that God was going to heal me, but knowing that He would never leave me.
And as you mentioned, you felt like you might die with Ebola. What was that like as you are clinging to your faith at that point of your life and of that battle with Ebola?
I wish I could tell you that it made me not afraid and courageous and brave, but that wouldn't be honest. I held on to my faith in Jesus in that time because that is all I could do, and I'm thankful that God spared my life.
And we are too, Dr. Brantly. It's so great to talk to you, great to see you. You're a Hoosier, and we're proud of all the work that you did back in 2014, and it's good to see you tonight. Thank you again for giving us some insight into this new Ebola outbreak that is happening in Africa. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet. Thank you.